Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the murky, muck-filled swamp that is fake news. And who better to guide us through this fetid landscape than the high priestess of hyperbole herself, Arundhati Roy. Now, you might know Arundhati Roy as the author of The God of Small Things, a book some people seem to like. But we're not here to talk about her literary merits, oh no. We're here to dissect her uncanny ability to spin narratives so outlandish, so divorced from reality, that they make your average Facebook uncle's ramblings look like Pulitzer-worthy journalism. So buckle up, grab your metaphorical salt shakers, because we're about to embark on a journey through the twisted, often hilarious world of Arundhati Roy's greatest hits of misinformation. Our first stop on this express train to fabrication takes us all the way back to 2002, a year that seems like a lifetime ago. Picture this, Arundhati Roy, pen in hand, furiously scribbling an article for Outlook magazine, her mind racing with thoughts. This wasn't going to be just any article, mind you. It was meant to shake the very foundations of society. This was going to be a symphony of outrage, a magnum opus of manufactured misery, designed to captivate and provoke. The article in question centered around a horrific incident, a tale so gruesome, so shocking, that it would make your hair stand on end and your heart skip a beat. According to Roy, a Muslim woman named Saida had been subjected to unimaginable cruelty during the Gujarat riots, a time of great turmoil. Her story, as told by Roy, was a potent cocktail of religious persecution and sexual violence, designed to elicit maximum sympathy and outrage from the readers. There was just one small problem. It was all complete and utter bollocks. Yes, you heard that right. The entire narrative was a fabrication. The story of Saida, this supposed victim of unspeakable atrocities, was about as real as a unicorn riding a roller coaster on the moon, a complete fantasy. When independent fact-checkers, those pesky killjoys, decided to investigate Roy's claims, they found themselves facing a brick wall of vagueness and inconsistencies. Roy, when confronted with the inconvenient truth, resorted to the oldest trick in the fake news playbook: deflection, and lots of it. Suddenly, Saida wasn't someone she knew personally. Oh no. Saida was a friend of a friend, a distant acquaintance whose story she had merely relayed. It was like a game of Chinese whispers, with Roy conveniently forgetting which parts she'd embellished along the way, adding her own twists. And the details, well, those were obviously hazy, as you might expect. Memories are fickle things, you see, especially when you are trying to peddle fabricated stories for political points. Roy, a master of obfuscation, knew that by keeping the details vague, she could maintain the illusion of truth while simultaneously shielding herself from accusations of outright lying. This, my friends, is lesson number one in the Arundhati Roy school of fake news. Never, ever take direct responsibility for a claim. Always, and I cannot stress this enough, always attribute it to a friend from Baroda or a rickshaw driver I met once. That way, you can always deflect blame. For our next trick, we're jetting off to the hallowed halls of academia, specifically Northwestern Law School in Chicago. This prestigious institution is known for its rigorous academic standards and its commitment to fostering critical thinking among its students. Imagine, if you will, a room full of bright-eyed law students eager to soak up knowledge from a celebrated author and activist. These students, with their notebooks open and pens poised, are ready to absorb every word that falls from the lips of their esteemed guest. They'd come to hear Arundhati Roy speak, to bask in the glow of her supposed wisdom. Her reputation as a fearless critic and a voice for the marginalized had preceded her, and the students were eager to hear her insights. Little did they know they were about to be subjected to a masterclass in historical revisionism. The expressions on their faces would soon shift from admiration to confusion as they tried to reconcile the facts they knew with the narrative being spun before them. Now, you might think that a law school, a place where facts are revered and logic reigns supreme, would be the last place one would encounter blatant misinformation. After all, these are the future lawyers and judges of the world, trained to discern truth from falsehood. And you'd be right if it were anyone other than Arundhati Roy gracing the podium. Her ability to weave a compelling story, regardless of its factual accuracy, is unparalleled. Roy, ever the opportunist, saw in this audience of mostly clueless Americans a chance to spin a narrative so audacious, so utterly divorced from reality, that it would make even the most seasoned propagandist blush. She knew that her audience's lack of familiarity with the intricacies of Indian history and politics would work to her advantage. Her topic of choice? The complex and sensitive issue of Hindu-Muslim relations in India, a subject that has been the source of much debate and conflict over the years. Now, this is a topic that requires nuance, sensitivity, and a deep understanding of historical context. It is a subject that demands careful consideration and a balanced perspective. Unfortunately, these are qualities that Roy seems to have misplaced, along with fact-checking responsibilities. Instead, she opted for a more sensational approach, one that would grab headlines and provoke strong reactions. In her speech, Roy wove a tale of oppression and violence, painting Muslims as the perpetual victims of Hindu aggression. Her narrative was designed to evoke sympathy and outrage, but it was built on a foundation of half-truths and exaggerations. To bolster her narrative, she made a claim so outlandish, so demonstrably false, that it would be laughable if it weren't so dangerous. She knew that her audience, unfamiliar with the facts, would be unlikely to question her assertions. She had the audacity to link two unrelated events, the demolition of the Babri Masjid and the Godhra train burning, implying a direct causal relationship between them. This was a gross oversimplification of complex events, designed to mislead. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with these events, let me enlighten you. The Babri Masjid demolition in 1992 was a tragic event, a culmination of years of communal tensions and political opportunism. The Babri Masjid demolition in 1992 was a tragic event, a culmination of years of communal tensions and political opportunism. It was a moment that left a deep scar on the collective consciousness of India. The Godhra train burning, on the other hand, occurred in 2002 and involved the deaths of Hindu pilgrims, an incident that sparked widespread riots in Gujarat. This event, too, was a dark chapter in India's history, marked by violence and loss. To even remotely suggest that these two events, separated by a decade and driven by completely different factors, were somehow connected is not just intellectually dishonest, it's downright dangerous. It is a manipulation of history that serves no purpose other than to inflame passions and deepen divides. It's like saying that the Great Fire of London caused the American Revolution because, fire is bad. Such a comparison is not only absurd, but also undermines the complexity of historical events. But Roy, ever the showman, wasn't done yet. She continued to weave her narrative, each statement more dramatic than the last, each claim more detached from reality. She went on to paint a picture of India so bleak, so riddled with religious persecution, that one would think she was describing a dystopian nightmare, rather than a vibrant, albeit flawed, democracy. Her portrayal was one-sided, ignoring the rich tapestry of India's diverse and pluralistic society. And the best part, she did it all with a straight face, her words dripping with faux concern and righteous indignation. Her performance was so convincing that it left many in the audience questioning their own understanding of the issues. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar, except in this case, the award should be for Best Actress in a leading role of spreading misinformation. Her ability to captivate and mislead was nothing short of theatrical. This, my friends, is lesson number 2 in the Arundhati Roy School of Fake News. When in doubt, exploit the ignorance of your audience. Use their lack of knowledge as a tool to push your agenda. Assume that they know nothing about the complexities of the issue at hand and proceed to bombard them with your carefully curated version of reality. In doing so, you can shape their perceptions and influence their beliefs, all while maintaining an air of authority and credibility. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to dive into the murky depths of Arundhati Roy's writing once more. This journey promises to be as tumultuous as the stormy skies and turbulent waves we often find in her narratives. This time we're dissecting an article so riddled with factual errors, so blatantly divorced from reality, that it makes your average internet comment section look like a peer-reviewed scientific journal. It's a chaotic mess, much like the bustling streets and heated discussions we see every day. The subject of Roy's literary rampage, the tragic 2002 Gujarat riots, a period of communal violence that left a permanent scar on India's conscience. This is a topic that evokes deep emotions and requires a careful, respectful approach. Now, this is a topic that demands sensitivity, accuracy, and a deep understanding of the complex social and political dynamics at play. It's a subject that scholars and historians approach with caution and respect. So naturally, Arundhati Roy decided to throw all those things out the window and replace them with her trademark brand of hyperbolic fiction. It's as if she believes that sensationalism trumps accuracy every time. In her article, Roy decided to focus on the harrowing story of Ehsan Jaffrey, a former member of parliament who was tragically killed during the riots. His story is one that resonates deeply with many. Now, Jaffrey's story is a deeply upsetting one, a stark reminder of the human cost of communal violence. It's a narrative that should be handled with the utmost care and respect. But Roy, never one to let facts get in the way of a good narrative, decided to embellish his story with a few, shall we say, creative liberties. It's a move that raises serious questions about her commitment to truth. According to Roy's version of events, Jaffrey's daughters were burned alive during the riots. It's a claim that only problem? It's completely false. This kind of inaccuracy is not just a minor slip, it's a significant distortion of truth. Ehsan Yafri had one daughter and she was safe in the United States at the time of the riots. This fact is well documented and easily verifiable. Now you might think that getting such a crucial detail wrong, especially when writing about such a sensitive issue, would be a career-ending blunder. It's the kind of mistake that undermines credibility. But not for Arundhati Roy. She seems to navigate these waters with an unshakable confidence, as if impervious to criticism. She's like the Teflon Don of Indian literature. Nothing sticks, not even the stench of blatant fabrication. It's a remarkable ability to deflect and move on. When confronted with her rather egregious error, Roy, ever the mistress of deflection, resorted to a truly audacious defense. It's a tactic that leaves many observers shaking their heads. She claimed that the chaotic situation in Gujarat, the sheer scale of the violence, had led to her making a few genuine errors. It's an explanation that seems to stretch the bounds of credibility. It was as if she was suggesting that amidst the mayhem, she had simply forgotten how many daughters a man had. It's a defense that raises more questions than it answers. This, my friends, is lesson number 3 in the Arundhati Roy school of fake news. Facts are flexible, truth is subjective, and if all else fails, blame it on the chaotic situation. It's a masterclass in emerging information. After all, who has time for pesky things like fact-checking when you're busy crafting a narrative of righteous indignation? But wait, there's more. The story doesn't end here. Roy's defense goes beyond simply blaming the chaotic situation. She takes it a step further, adding another layer to her argument. She argues that these minor factual inaccuracies, these genuine errors, don't actually matter. In her view, the larger narrative is what counts. They don't, in her mind, detract from the larger point she's trying to make about the horrors of the Gujarat riots. It's a perspective that prioritizes the emotional impact over factual accuracy. For more insightful content, see you next time.